This has nothing to do with anybody in this room. This is all about Matthew. This is all inside jokes, so you guys can tune out or you can listen along. But this is for him specifically. So my speech is next. Christy, here are the top 10 things or the reasons why you should marry my best friend, Matthew, Aaron, Mary, Jerry, Mac, Potter. Number 10. Matthew, Christy, is a hopeless romantic. Did you know this? He loves love. He always has. Ever since we were about 6 and 7, he's a year older than I am, they would visit us in Peoria or Florida into Alabama, and they would spend about 10 days, and then we'd all go to AY3 together. After about 10 days, AYC, AY3, same thing. And Matthew, every year, it was a big deal for him to get a date for the band. Really big deal. Except Matthew is a chicken. And he would make me ask out the girls for him to the AYC band. Because hey, look, Catherine's really pretty. Like, I really like her, but I'm scared. Could you ask her out for me? And I'm like, sure, I'll do that. You know, like, that's great. But I was always jealous of Matthew's able to have like this romantic attitude. So I asked him one day, I said, would you show me? And he said, I'd be right happy to. And it was just really a good time. So he actually kind of softened me up. I remember him asking that these girls were Ronky and Granky. And at AOIC, it was really weird. It was strange. I remember having to like give pictures of girls. They would like swap pictures, you guys remember that? For like Facebook and stuff. So like his school photo, they would give me a photo of them, and Matthew would give me a photo of him, and I would be the in-between man. Here's a photo of Matthew, and he'd be like, hey, give this back to Matthew. So then I would give him a photo of girls. So he was just always loved all this love stuff. Christy, he's gonna be great for like Hallmark movies. He's gonna cry during those. He loves all that kind of stuff. He also is a big fan of like physical touch. Just acts like Hank. He loves back rubs a lot in the dorm rooms. And foot rubs, that's neat. You can also ask Chastity Jensen. She would know that as well. Anyway, firsthand, literally. He might be like in public, and he might be in the mall, and he might say something like this, Christy. He might say, I want my handheld. And Christy, you might just have to hold his hand. Like, if he wants his handheld, you just gotta hold his hand, okay? And I'm sorry about that. He loves physical touch, he loves love. He's also really good with money. This is number 9. He's really good with money. His motto with money is, he's built, not bought. He's always said that about money. He's like the Pacers way, when they played the Miami Heat. Miami Heat were, they got money, and the Pacers were built through the draft, even though we always beat them. Anyway, he is a little tight though, Christy. He does save a lot of money. I remember in college, this is not a great look for Matthews, he would have McDonald's cups, and he would put them in his car. Okay, so he would go to McDonald's together, and he would order something, but he wouldn't order a drink, but then he'd slip out that McDonald's cup and go up and refill it. He got to save a couple bucks. He stopped doing that. We had like a little conversation, like how ethical, unethical that was, and that was terrible. I remember one day he came to me and he had wrecked his car, and he said, "Oh, I hit a deer." And he wrecked his car, so he had to get some extra money. So he opened up his own cheese business in Chicago. But it failed, it went bankrupt. Hey, what you're talking? I'm speaking. I hope when you have a wedding, you're speaking that everybody talks to you. You're reading what you sow, son. Anyway, he's really tight with money. Like I said, you're going to shop a lot at thrift stores, and you're going to be, you probably shopped at the thrift store this week. I can't believe you're not wearing a suit from the thrift store, because he loves thrift store shopping, which I respect. Number 8, he's hilarious. And he is. Anybody knows Matthew knows he's like the funniest guy. Keith said it. He's crazy, he's funny. I remember doing like the crazy stuff with him, throwing eggs at people, and we're still, we'd be driving down the road, and he would like throw eggs out the window. We hit this guy one time, it was just wild. He doesn't do this anymore, Christy. This is back in our young 16-year-old days. Really bad days for us, but we would like go to gas stations, and we'd get out in different cars and act like we were fighting and cause like a big scene, just get out, start yelling at each other, and people get really concerned, and we're like, no, we're just faking, it's okay. Please. And everybody remembers the national anthem story, right? All right, we're gonna pull it up. We got it up here. Let's go. I'm just kidding, but no. He got really nervous, but he did the national anthem one time. There was like 200 people there. He like let me sing it, and he rose in, barred it. It was terrible, but I love him for it. He's just so funny. I remember one time at AYC, Keith, AYC Talent Show, Matt was going to be a judge for the skateboarding competition. And Matthew literally, because he wanted to make me laugh, decided just to do inside jokes like I'm doing now that none of you get besides him. He decided to do what I'm doing to him now at his wedding at AYC, which like 500 kids, terrible. Matthew took that opportunity to make me laugh, and he bombed like I'm bombing now, and it was great. And I just loved it, and we still talk about it all the time. I love that you did that for me. That was great. Number 7, he's a good roommate. He was really clean, Christy, and he took out the trash. I never took out the trash. He always took out the trash in our room, and so I'm guessing he's probably did that for you. One thing that really stinks about being Matthew's roommate is he listens to Dr. Phil when he goes to bed. I don't know why. He has Dr. Phil on and it's loud. I remember going and spending the night at his house and he would have the TV on and I'm like, all right, let's go to bed. Time to go to bed. And he'd be like, okay, turn the TV off. And he's like, no, we gotta have it on. We gotta sleep with the TV on. I'm like, that's terrible. I can't sleep like that. So in college, he would listen to Dr. Phil and I'd always go over there and be like, what are you doing? You slaving? And he'd be like, yeah, I'm sleeping. And I'm like, how'd you do that with Dr. Phil? It was just crazy. Crazy time. Anyway, we've only had one fight in all those years, 3 years of being roommates. I know one. We only had one fight, and that's it. So I don't think you guys will have much fights. He's a really good roommate, and he's pretty docile, and he backs down really easily, so that's good. Here's the only negative thing out of all my 10 is this. Number 6 is really negative, and that is he's on his own time. I'm really shocked that he even made it to the wedding on time. He's just on his own time the whole time. He just doesn't. He's on his own time. I'm just telling you, it's always been a problem. We're like, hey, we're gonna go to meetups. And he's like, yeah, let's go. Meet you at 7. And it's like 7:30, and I'm there. I'm like, where you at? And he's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna be here. And he's like, okay, fine. So that's the only thing that is really annoying. Then I would leave meetups and I'd say, adios, sugar buff. Number 5, his love language is gift giving. Raise your hand in the audience if Matthew's ever given you a gift. Ever. Isn't it random? David, you had your gift was in mine. He like opened his trunk, and I go in his trunk, and he's got all this stuff. And I'm like, what is this stuff? He's like, oh, this is for David. I saw this Bengals sweatshirt, and I was gonna give it to him. Like, why are you buying stuff for people just randomly? It wasn't even Christmas or anything. It was his birthday. He just goes to their store, and he's like, oh, this would be great. I need to get this for this person. Like, Christy, you're gonna have amazing gifts. He got me a gift today that was Turbo Man. If anybody's seen Jingle All the Way, that I literally freaked out about. I almost started crying today. Because he gave me the best gift of my life. It was unreal. It was great. This is how far Matthew went to give me a gift one time. This is the kind of guy he is. I remember Duncan Robinson is my favorite player in the NBA. He's my favorite player. He's my favorite shooter. And apparently Duncan Robinson from Michigan. So Matthew was going to go to his house and get a jersey autographed for him. It was 4 hours away. We had this connection through his Warzone buddy, Santi. Santiago, you guys know Santiago? So Santi was his Warzone buddy, and I guess Santi met him somehow and gave Matthew the instructions to Duncan's house. And we got the instructions mixed up, and I remember Matthew getting really mad at Santi and saying, where did you send me, Santi? Because it sure was in Duncan's house. But Matthew, he was just awesome. That's what he would do to give me a gift signed by Duncan Robinson. It was crazy. Anyway, this is going terribly. Number 4, he is loyal. I think Andrew said that one. He's loyal. You'll never have to say to him, Christy, you never keep your promises, ever! Because he is loyal, and he is will treat you right. Like Pacers, when they're terrible, which they are this year, he's there. Colts, losing record, he's there. Notre Dame, top 10, he's there, but he's there in the bad times too. He's just loyal. He's loyal to Mountain Dew, Mexican food, Skyline. He's just a creature of habit, and he's just very loyal and regimented, and that'll suit you well. He's also very loyal to his favorite character, Spider-Man. I'm gonna be honest with you, Christy, I don't think you have got to the level of Spider-Man in Matthew's life yet. Which, by the way, Far From Home, go see it December 17th. All 3 Spider-Men are in it, confirmed. Me and Matthew were talking about that for a while. Matthew's also loyal to his work. I met his coworkers back there. Y'all raise your hands. What's up? Yeah. He's loyal to his work. Matthew works in a hospital, and he's very loyal to that job. He tells me all these crazy stories, working 3rd shift at a ER room basically, and he tells me about like people coming in there wanting the vaccine and demanding it. And I'm not getting political at all, but he finds that no one actually wants the 2nd dose of the shots because they said it hurts. For instance, they'll go in there and they'll be like, I want the 1st shot, but not booster. No one wants poster. And then, because they said the second shot hurt, so I'm like, ouch, doctor, that really hurt. Number 3. We're almost through, I promise. He's really good at relationships. I'm not kidding. Like, just the mere fact that his coworker showed up to his wedding should tell you everything about Matthew you need to know. I've never seen somebody being able to hold so many relationships at a time. I could probably ask you, if you had Matthew in your wedding, there would probably be like 20 hands. I'm not even kidding. People I didn't even know he knew. And he's like, yeah, I'm at this wedding. I'm like, what? How are you didn't know them? He's like, yeah, we're great friends. I'm like, that makes no sense at all. I've never seen you hang out with him. But he's just so good at relationships that people gravitate towards him. He's really easy to get along with. He's very authentic. People like that. It's attractive. And I think that's great. Our dorm room became a counseling center. And this is actually real. I'm actually telling the truth. I've lied a lot in this. But this part is real. He is a great counselor. They would come to him for relationship advice all the time. They're like, Matthew, what I gotta do? I remember this guy, Kenny Trooper. He was trying to get with this girl out of his league at GBS. And he came to Matthew and said, I've never dreamed of her. And Matthew said, lots of things I never dreamed of, son. And he said, you think I can marry her? And Matthew said, she's very polished. And he used great advice. I mean, people would go there and they would literally be like, this is real now, again, back to real reality. They would ask him for relationship advice, and he actually had good advice. He was pretty wise. It's weird. He's got that wisdom about it that I really like. All right, number 2. Thank goodness we're almost done. Number 2. And you touched on this a little bit with Grayson, and we're going to get a little serious here for a second. Matthew is unique. He's unique. And Matthew always says about himself, you think I'm really strange? You think I'm really weak? And he's right. Matthew is strange. Not so weak, but he's strange. And I think Matthew is different from the rest of us. He thinks outside the box. This is why the speech is really crazy right now, because he's the only one that's enjoying it. Because this is his humor, so it's not for you, remember. This is for him. So I don't care if you liked it or not, because he likes it. But he thinks outside the box, and he is very much, I don't know, he's just a unique person. I've never met anybody like him. Christy, I hate to tell you this, McMillan's is going nowhere. Do not buy the lie. This will be the longest running YouTube TV show that we have ever seen. It'll go on forever. It's here to stay. But he has made me get in front of the camera my whole life. I'd have no choice. In those summers when he would visit me, it was like, I wanted to play basketball, and Matthew's like, okay, we'll do that after we shoot this video. I'm like, okay, fine. We made so many countless videos that I could never show you. Ever. We have to burn them. Somebody actually did burn one. My mom did burn one. We just could not have it out there. We could never run for office at all or anything if that was out there. But Matthew just makes me do all this crazy stuff, but I love him for it. And one thing I have, like, an advice about his uniqueness, because sometimes people don't understand it and they don't like it, and they'll say certain things about Matthew. I'm his biggest defender, by the way. I'm always defending Matthew to everybody. Like, no, his uniqueness and his craziness just needs to be channeled and not taken away. And so that's my advice. Let him be unique. Let him be himself. Channel it, though, because he needs that. Definitely channel it, but don't take it away. Because at the end of the day, I'm his biggest fan, and he's going to be an awesome young leader. But seriously, like, have you ever heard him preach? Some people at GBS have heard Matthew preach, and like, he's awesome at preaching. I could not believe the first time I heard him preach in chapel. President Avery's there. You got the Browns there. All these people that matter. You know, like all these people that are crazy. And Matthew's like getting up and preaching, and he's using an illustration about Spider-Man in the GBS chapel, and he's going. Psst, swinging, and I'm just thinking, this is crazy, but it works. Like, it was so good. It was awesome, and he related so well to all the people in the students all related to him and loved it. And I'm just thinking, that is just great. So, seriously, he can preach, and one day he's going to relate to young people so well. And remember that message, Matthew? Are you a fan of God? Are you a follower of God? That I heard you preach about 20 times. That was a good one. That was an original idea. Where'd you hear that from? Was that from you? Did you do that? Yeah, okay, good. But anyway, I heard him preach that one a ton, but I really do think that Matthew's going to his impact is greater than a lot of us because of the reason he thinks outside the box, and he is unique. That when he decides to get into full-time ministry, I think it's just going to be huge. And I'm really looking forward to that. So lastly, number 1, he loves the Lord, and he is solid spiritually, and I mean this. We're best friends. He's the closest thing I have to a brother, and I mean that. get a little serious now. You guys can listen in on this. But he's the closest thing I got to your brother, and he is solid spiritually. And I went through stuff in college like everybody does, my psych stuff, he remembers that. And again, he just had like this wisdom and this calmness about him, a problem-solving ability that was just really helpful to me. And it still is. I call him all the time about random stuff, spiritual questions. He's also very smart. You would not know that, but he is. And I have no doubt, Christy, he will do that for you. He's an amazing confidant. He's a listener. He listens to listen, not to respond. He's a godly man, and I look up to him a lot. And he is going to be bold. He can talk to Jesus about anybody. He tells me, he makes me feel guilty about it all the time. He's like, yeah, talk to my coworker about God. And I'm like, I haven't done that forever. Man, you just do that so easily. So he's very unique in that way again. And I think that he's going to be awesome. He's going to be an awesome husband, an awesome father one day. And I'm proud that he is my best friend and a brother to me. So congrats, Matt and Christy. Christy, you and Matt are going to have a heck of a time. You don't deserve better, Christy. That's it.